Welcome back to my channel. In my previous video, I told you my whole story from A to Z. And I think it's quite important to give you all the context there is. But now I want to focus a bit more on the apprenticeship and the years that followed, because I think they were quite monumental in my life and they shaped my way of thinking up until now. I think I ended up in the apprenticeship because I was led by fear. All the years at school didn't give me enough confidence to pursue high school, and this is why I chose the easier path, going down the route of an apprenticeship as a carpenter. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I really hated it. I was in my first year as a carpenter. I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning. I came back home at 6 p.m. and I didn't like the job. I quickly realized as well that working with my hands wasn't the right thing for me after all, and school was somehow more fun, which was quite something new to learn for me as well. And yeah, I ended up here just because of my previous school years. So I wasn't really happy, but I didn't accept my fate. I knew I can change these things by working hard, obviously, like nothing comes for free in this world. And I really want to show you how I did it. And I think like anyone can do that. And it sounds stupid, I know. Like on YouTube, like you always hear these amazing stories and people do crazy things, whatever. And I really want to assure you, like I'm a regular dude. I'm not a superhuman or a superman or whatever. I think anyone can do these things and work themselves to a better place in life. And I really hope to bring home this message. And yeah, I really want to help you finding the place you belong to in your life. So buckle up for a new video and let's get started. So the first point I want to make is you can move mountains. It sounds really silly and stupid, but I truly believe high consistency combined with a strong will change everything for you. And let me give you an example. As I told you, like when I was younger, I was struggling with dyslexia and a learning deficit. So learning was nearly impossible for me. I kid you not. Like reading in general was really hard for me. But sometimes I read a text, it went in here and out of here. Like I couldn't get what they were telling me. I couldn't remember a word they were saying or that was written. And it was just hard for me in general. When I came to this professional high school, or we call it BMS in Switzerland, which is the part of high school you can do right next to your apprenticeship, I also had like French. That's normal in Switzerland. We learn French, but you can imagine like German, like my mother tongue, was quite hard. So French was impossible, right? Like, I couldn't speak it. I had real trouble learning the whole thing. But it was so amazing to see after the 2 years that I actually got like the highest grade. Let me tell you how I got there. Because like every morning and in the evening I had to take the train to go from home to work and back home, obviously. And while I was commuting, like every day for 2 years straight, I was learning French or also English vocabulary. Because like I had time, it was like a 20 to 25 minutes train ride. And it was just perfect for me, like rereading the whole thing, relearning everything, going through them again and again. Like smart kids, they could just read it once and memorize everything. I was the complete opposite. I had to go through it 10, 20, 30 times, whatever, until it finally stuck in my brain. But I kid you not, like before my apprenticeship, like in regular school, like terrible grades. Like I think I didn't even pass a subject most of the time. But while I came to the apprenticeship and I commuted on a daily basis, I learned French and English vocabulary. And by the end of the second year, which is normally like when you finish French in this professional high school, I always achieved the highest grades. And at one point, I think my French teacher came to me and she told me, in her whole career, she has never had a student who was able to achieve only the highest grades in the vocabulary tests. So you can see, like, in my opinion, high consistency combined with a strong will, it really does pay off. I mean, as I told you, like, yeah, you have to put in the work, but you can move mountains. I mean, for me, that was impossible, right? Languages in general were really hard for me to learn. But I ended up being the top student she ever had, which is just amazing. So that's what I want to say with, yeah, you can move mountains. I mean, these sayings are like cheesy, but like combined with a real example, I think they can bring home a point. It's like water that is like carving into the stone, right? Like do it every day a tiny bit. And after a million years, well, it takes time obviously, but you have the Grand Canyon, right? Amazing beauty. You can be proud of yourselves. This is the one and the most important thing, I think. And obviously, like, we all want to get somewhere, right? Like, we all want to learn a new language and we start with it, but we hardly ever stick to it. And I think this is the strong will combined with the high consistency. You know, like, for example, I have a strong will and I would like to learn Spanish. Yeah, sure. But you also need like the strong consistency. Like starting is always easy, right? But if you don't truly and deeply want it, I think it's quite hard to achieve. But for me, like my whole future depended on it, basically. I knew I don't want to be a carpenter my whole life. If I don't do anything, I will end up like being a carpenter for 50 or 60 years. And this was frightening for me. I really wanted to change it. So this is why, like, over a long period of time, I was able to stick to this high consistency because of the strong will. But also, like, afterwards, yeah, I had several attempts now to learn Spanish because I just think, yeah, it's cool learning a new language. But I failed over and over again simply because, like, there's no real pressure right now. I just think, yeah, it's cool. I wanted to learn Spanish. But there's, like, no real hook to it, right? Like for me, my whole future depends on it regarding high school and going to university later on. This is why I think I was able to do it. I truly and deeply wanted it. But now with Spanish, and I think you guys and girls might have the same problem. Like, yeah, you want something, but do you truly want it on a very deep level? Yeah, I mean, do you see the point? I think, yeah, I think I can bring it back home. But I think this combination was so crucial to me and it taught me a lot. And yeah, it really must be something that grinds your gears if you don't do it. So this is why over years I was able to perform my daily routine. Yeah, I really hope this makes sense. So the second point I want to make is go to a place that inspires you or invites you to learn or just makes you feel good. So in general, like I finished my professional high school and I think I ended up roughly in the top 10%. Can't remember, but like had good grades. Everything went well because of my strong will and high consistency. And then I moved on to the Passerelle, which is like one more year, so you can truly go to the university later on. But it's a really tough year. I think I studied in that year for 7 days a week for a whole year, and I only took off 1 week, I think, in a whole year. So you really see I really had a high consistency there, combined with a strong will. But overall, I don't think I could have achieved this level of high consistency in that year by studying in my own chamber or room. I really wanted to go outside somewhere where people were also learning, so I went to the public library of the nearby university, and I think this really, really helped me. Also, like on Saturday and Sunday, you go there, people are also studying, and it just lifts your brain into a different mood. And this was something that really, really helped me and still helps me. For example, writing the script for this video was a week ago. I was sitting here, I was tired, it was really hot, and yeah, I couldn't write anything in here. I told myself, okay, freak it, let's go again to the public library. I went there and I saw all the younger students studying, and I remembered the time I was sitting there, and felt great, some nostalgia. But overall, yeah, I just sat down. I was quiet. People were studying and focusing. did the same thing, and I ended up writing a whole page, which is amazing. And again, it proves to me, yeah, going to a different place really can make a difference. It's also the same thing with tools. I remember in my bachelor's degree, I had like a Windows laptop, and I've grown up with Windows for a long time. But I always thought to myself, oh man, okay, those MacBooks, they look amazing, but quite expensive, and I have still a functioning Windows laptop. But then a good friend of mine told me he doesn't think that spending money on a new MacBook, for example, is a waste of money if it truly boosts your motivation. And like after my bachelor's for my master's, I did treat myself to a MacBook, and it was just so much more pleasing to work with it. And I was excited to open it up, and it looked nice and it felt good. And I think it's the same thing, like going to a place that really shifts your mood upwards, or yeah, get yourself a nice pen or a good MacBook or laptop, whatever, that really makes you feel great for learning and working. I think these things should be taken into consideration. If you have like cheap material and you're in your room at home and you don't like it, change these things immediately. I really think they can boost your motivation tremendously. As long as you can afford it, obviously. I mean, if you have like crazy things in mind, then yeah, if you have the money, go for it. If not, then yeah, you really have to stick with your strong will, I guess. The last point I want to bring home is taking breaks. First and foremost, do sports, for example. Go to the gym, go for a walk in the woods, do some yoga, whatever pleases you. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do that, and I regret not doing it, because I really think it would have been much better for me, obviously. But I had such laser focus, and this was my whole mission basically. I really just wanted to go to university, I wanted to study, I didn't want to be a carpenter anymore, so I did it at all costs. But the whole thing is a marathon, not a sprint. And nowadays I realize as well, like taking small breaks in between, it really helps. I mean, if you go for a run and you want to study a bit more later on, you're so much more clear in your head. And yeah, sure thing, you could also have studied the whole thing while you were running, but it takes you much more time. And also I think like your brain degrades over a longer period of time, right? Like it gets tired, and you need a fresh mind to learn new things, to pursue your dreams. And this is only possible if you really take breaks, give your brain some fresh air and do some sports. It will also benefit your health. And also, I mean, after my apprenticeship, I lost a good friend of mine, and he was like 23 years old. These things can happen, right? Also, go on vacations if you can. Do these things. I think I'm gonna do like another video solely dedicated to this topic later on. But nonetheless, like taking breaks is really important. Yeah, pursue your main mission, but also think about the path there. Life is valuable, take breaks, and it will be a much more pleasing journey. And also I think like the success rate will be much higher, because like with a fresh mind you can achieve much more and go much further. So to wrap things up, I think with these three ingredients, which are high consistency combined with a strong will, which is the most important one, going to places you like to be in that really elevate your motivation and your focus, and use tools that do the same thing, and taking breaks, I think anyone can get to any place. And I also remember, like most people have like this little devil on the shoulder, right? That tells you, well, okay, they were able to do it, but I can't because of X, Y, Z. I remember when I was younger, my mother told me like she knows someone who has 2 or 3 kids, and one of them also really struggled at school, but later on became the most successful out of the 3 boys. And I also remember like my 2 brothers, they were so much more smarter than me when I was younger. I always thought to myself, okay, well, I won't be able to achieve anything that they will be able to achieve. And when my mother told me this story, I thought again like, yeah, but that's him, or that's someone else. This won't apply to me. But now looking back at hindsight, I don't want to say like I'm the most successful out of my brothers, but I was still able to get to a place which was something I wasn't able to grasp back then. Because I was also telling myself, yeah, it's him or it's them, or it's not suitable for me because of X, Y, Z. This is BS, like for real. Like anyone can do it. And yeah, sure, I'm not gonna lie. It might have been somehow of an easy task. It was me as a student having some troubles, but getting somewhere. I know there are people who have like maybe kids or later on in their life, whatever. I mean, I get it, then it's much harder. Still, like right now, I'm 30 years old, and if I wanted to do something similar right now, yes, it's harder because now you have to bring back some money, you have to pay rent, bills, all these things. Nonetheless, if you truly want to do it on a very deep level, I'm 100% sure you will find a way. But you must be there and you really have to put in the work and the consistency. It will be hard, yes, that's for sure, but you can do it. I'm really sure about it. So yeah, this is the video I wanted to make today. I really hope I could help you. I really hope I can motivate you. And I think for me it was the same thing. Like when I heard different stories of different people, it was quite helpful for me. Like nowadays, back then I didn't watch motivational YouTube videos. And I really hope I can provide some value for you guys by showing, look, I was able to move my mountain. I'm 100% sure you can move your mountain. Take care.